Good day, everybody. Brian here, quantlabsnet.com. Today is June 21st, 2025. I want to show you a video, a review, a very positive review of this, call it newer broker out of Asia called Mumu Financial. They, I believe, are operated out of Hong Kong, and this is their desktop software. So I want to show this to you because it looks very impressive. Interactive brokers, it's my broker right now, but it's always nice to know that there's another broker out there to keep brokers like interactive brokers on their toes and to literally be potentially a global threat to them. Here we are, and this is it. So, in terms of, I'm not going to go into too deep into this, but what I want to show you is I'm just on the verge, as you know, being able to use CME instruments, both futures and options, and be able to trade them. One of the big areas that I'm finding, obviously, right now is the equity space standard most brokers have for options. You can see here, sorry, for stocks. You can see here. You can also see here a variety of the different ETFs. Now, ETF support in interactive brokers is quite wide and quite vast, and that is a huge, huge benefit. So I don't know the exact number of available ETFs through this, and I'm in Ontario, Canada. I do know that this broker is also available in the US. Excuse me. And actually, I believe that they trade under the symbol name on the US exchanges, FUTU. I think FUTU Financial. Anyways, I don't know, but I'll verify that in the comments or in the description or somewhere. But that's what I remember it might be. So they're fairly legit. Obviously legit because they're licensed. Anyway, so they have the ETFs here. They have the different financials, which are important for forward-looking basis on a lot of the major stocks out there. That's an important way I analyze stocks is really I'm only interested in forward-looking stocks, meaning do they have guidance? What are the analysts saying about forward-looking analysis? I don't care about present day. I don't care where they operated yesterday. I care about where they're going in the future. So if they have these sort of availability in the desktop app, as you can see, it looks pretty good. So you get all the accounting statement, balance sheet. Now, I don't know the exact on the interactive brokers software, but obviously it's here in this software here. So here we get very good analysis. So do you really need the other third-party software or analysis when you have this type of analysis right out on your fingertips? So that's, as you can see here, the different ratings that you can get. There's different ways to do that through software, but it just depends. Really comes down to your technical know-how. Yes, you can probably use the AI for that. I do think now that I'm seeing more and more calls for regulation on AI, all the data that's given in AI will be regulated. I hate to say that, and that's including stock tips and stock related news. There will there most likely some form of regulation on that. So what we have today via AI may not happen, may not exist a year, 6 months from now. I don't know, but I wouldn't be surprised that will get regulated. Also, we have the cash dividend or the dividend payouts. That's important too, especially when we get into riskier times. What we're looking for, more people doing more, obviously, uh, things like doing their own analysis and investing outside of professionals. You can see here all the major shareholders as well in this. It's all conveniently in this kind of neat app. So let's go back to the markets here. So we can get a variety of analysis here. So US, Canada, crypto analysis with the Japanese. The crypto, as far as I can tell, has all the major and even some of the lesser known crypto coins in there. So I believe you can trade through them depending upon where you live. So that's a good thing as well. And again, the nice thing is that's something like Interactive Brokers doesn't really have. They only support a very limited number of crypto coins. Uh, the five legacy ones, maybe. They don't have all the Tron, Polkadot, things like that, because a lot of people like that. And again, because it's Asian based, obviously you're going to get Asian specific equity markets as well. Now, it'd be kind of cool if you're able to trade those, and I don't believe why you would happen because personally, I know a lot of growth are going to be coming out of places like Malaysia and probably Singapore as well. And the China A shares, I don't know. But just something to consider as well of where we're going. Far as I know, they may go and expand into Europe for a more uh, EU focus as well. So that's going to be a big thing. So again, that's all the equity. I've mentioned already the ETF space. This is where I'm very interested in is available of things like bonds. Again, you can see here to get this kind of snapshot on something like Bloomberg, you pay probably big money, but what you want is to be able to get international view. That's going to be very important. I just put up a video about that. US centric and international. US is now starting to prove to be much more riskier, much more volatile, but to be able to balance it out with a world global view and be able to get access right out of the gate, access to Indonesia, growth there, maybe South Africa, I don't know. But it's just good to know that that is just easier to deal with instead of going and begging to interactive brokers. And please, Mr. Broker, can you add me so I can get access to this and this and this with the permissioning base that they've set up? That's for interactive brokers. Okay, so there's the bond space. This is where I get very excited on because here, originally I didn't think that this exists, but here it is. We now have the availability to start trading out all of the major futures, equity futures markets. Again, you can see here we've got Australia, we've got Japan or the Nikkei, VIX, S&P, and P, and so on, and all of that all ready to go. Which is going to be a major, major advantage instead of just being specifically um, just US centric. The other thing is, so we got the Forex as well. So here's your traditional Forex retail. And you can already see where I'm going with this. This is why I'm like really, really, uh, really excited to see this type of broker exist. You can see I haven't opened my account. I'll tell you why in that in a minute. But this is really the impressive thing when it comes to this broker. Um, and the interesting thing is when you include the won, Hong Kong dollar, I don't know about the spread cost. I don't know, but if that is addressed, unlike with the other major forex retail brokers out there, again, you've got that advantage. If that's the case, I haven't really gone into that space to ask, but you can see here we've got quite a interesting number of um, the usual likes of so let's say Wanda, like U.S. Thai bot, and here you have your low cost again spread cost. I don't know. I have to figure that out because I haven't really known. And at the same time, you can trade all the standard crypto as well. That's pretty good. That's really good, in fact. So again, we got futures, forex, bonds, international for the equity. The other thing I was looking at is things like options. Do the options exist? So as far as I know, let me see here. Uh, they kind of do. I just can't remember where to go. But again, I just want to make sure uh, where we're at here. So um, let's see here. Under custom, obviously you can add in. This is it here. So I know with option chain data does exist. I've already gone to great lengths to get that working with interactive brokers. Hooray, hooray, hooray. But the standard question will be, do you have to pay for market data? And the answer is yes. This is where it may get challenging for people. I'm not going to get into the market data cost, but it's not free. If it's competitively priced, then this is where Mumu will kind of take a lot of the market, especially if it's Asian based. I know in my group, we have a lot of Asians trading, and if they are able to come to a broker like this, it's going to be very appealing for them as well. So again, this is just a demo account, obviously, because it's not been opened, an account. And again, you can see here we've got gold. And again, if we're able to get the option chain data for the major futures market, natural gas, gold, and whatnot, I think this is going to be a clear winner. Now, the thing is to understand about this is that, as I said before, when it comes to interactive brokers, it's all permission based. Again, I don't know the approach that Mumu has on this. As I move along with this, obviously I'll learn more and I'll put it out there as I learn more. Um, so there's that. It is not free. As well. And let's see under the global partners, but I do believe I saw a premium market data package for 69 a month. Okay. Now, in terms of the fees, I think they're slightly higher than uh, uh, interactive brokers. If you're on Mumu or you're looking at Mumu, I'm always encouraging people to put that in the comments. It's how I learned from what people that are trading and that are actually customers of both major competitors like Interactive Brokers and the like, and Mumu as well. So there's that as well. The AI is a big factor as well. That's going to be a big feature among a lot of the brokers. So that's already there. Standard notifications as well. Different charts that are available as well, custom charts, I'm sure. Now, the interesting thing is when they add in the community uh, basis as well, um, because when you look at, I don't know, one news source that I like is something like financial Financial Times out of the UK. One thing I like about that, if you get behind the paywall, they have an absolutely amazing section of users commenting on that. It's no different than Seeking Alpha. That is where a lot of the value is. So I have seen a lot of the news stories here with the community commenting on that. I think in itself adds a lot of value to that. I did see quite a bit of comments for a few different news stories. So that's something to consider. AI is not everything. Automation, algorithmic trading is not everything. A lot of it does come down to community based. So that's all here. I do believe I did see rewards and all that as well. So that's all cool and all. So overall, a couple of things I'll mention here from the AI or from the automation or API. I did look into it. I don't have access to it because I may be mistaken. If I can get access to it uh, without needing to create the account, I'll gladly do that in a separate video. And either way, it has to be done in a video. This is just the desktop software as it is right now. But if it, like with interactive brokers, you can do a lot of testing without having to sign up. Um, Hopefully, there is that exists with Mumu as well, because that's how you build out that other community as well in terms of having automated traders on your platform. That's very important, and I think that's how interactive brokers kind of grew over the decades. So, in terms of the AI support itself, they do have um, the typical JavaScript and all the different standard data types that you get um, through the AI responses. So therefore, you can get different languages. I think I did see support on the GitHub from a user. I'm not sure if they're affiliated with Mumu. They have both Java and Python support. So hopefully uh, that's the case. Then again, we have a winner. Hopefully, it's a friendlier framework as well, because we already know about the nightmares that we get with interactive brokers, which takes you a lot longer to come up with things on interactive brokers on their AI, or sorry, on their API. Whereas here, this is another big advantage that interactive, Mumu can offer. The other big thing I want to highlight here is part of the demos that I saw from somebody that works at Mumu. And again, I have no affiliation with them in terms of, I just like what I see. I'm just presenting that. I want to make sure there's no affiliation link here or I get paid out on any of this. I'm very independent from that. But um, one thing I did like what was shown is that you can use, I think, the API somewhere in there in the functionality, and you can get actual the Python language right from this desktop in the AI to build that out. So I think that is something I'm not seeing before. If that's the case, it's definitely beyond a game changer. There you go. Okay, so that's kind of overview um, over a bit of time there, and so let's talk about signing up now. In Canada, um, I'm not sure if this is nationwide in Canada's broker, but at least for Ontario, from what I'm seeing, this is global. When you sign up to US, UK based brokers, they want your, call it, government issued identity. In the US, that's your social security. In our case in Canada, at the federal level, we have our social insurance number. All the brokers that I've seen are now requiring the broker to have that as part of their application process. For me, it's a big uh, nothing against the broker. This is an industry problem. I find that as a red flag, not to the brokers or the brokerage industry. It's important to know that this is a problem because of the government. What we have in this world now, when you start to give your very sensitive everything, hackers can get access to your address, hackers can get access to many things. But the one thing you don't want them to get access to is your identity. And once they get your, in our case, social security number or your social insurance number, you're gone. Because now you can have people, hackers, to go out and do bad things to misrepresent you with the identity theft. And I don't know why a government official be so stupid enough to force a broker to collect that information for quote unquote tax purposes, which is, to me, it's insane from an identity uh, security point of view. But there's a lot of people will not sign up to brokers because of that, and that's not at the fault of the brokers. And I'm in the same camp there. But one thing I will put out there that's I think is new with what Interactive Brokers does is if you're trading as a business, you can now go to your, let's say the IRS, in our case, the Canadian Revenue Agency, and get an identity that's from the tax authority in your region, let's say. We have something called a business number, and then that business number I can pass along to other businesses that I operate as a business. In my case, I can operate as a trading operation, as a business, a corporation, sole proprietor, whatever. But the tax authority says, here's your business number, shielding you all your personal information, and then you can go ahead and go to a broker and use your business number, in our case, in Canada. So I do know, I believe I did see something that Interactive Brokers is now accepting as part of an application for new applicants. Now, if a company like Mumu adopts that, that's going to be a lot less. Obviously, there's virtually no resistance for people to sign up because they can use their business numbers that's given out by the tax authority. So everybody's happy. The government's happy. They know that you're trading because you're now linked through that business number that's given out by the tax authority. Your personal information is shielded, and the broker is also getting what they need to associate your trading activities with the government. I'm okay with that as long as you're the fair guy trading um, uh, as a citizen of of a citizen of that country or as a business as well. Everybody's happy in that regulation. And the other thing that I'm going to also mention that is, again, now you have one less crypto exchange to deal with because now you can trade crypto. And again, look at all the choices here you have. Now, again, I don't know if Mumu is going to support that here in Ontario, Canada, but from what I'm seeing, it's in their software. Again, one less thing to worry about if you want to trade crypto very deeply um, outside of um, needing to get a separate exchange. So that's where we're at. Now, there's one highlight I want to say just to prove to you, not affiliated with Mumu. Mumu and other brokers are going to give Interactive Brokers a run for their money. People don't know this. Kraken, as a crypto exchange, is an amazing exchange. And I say that because I've been with them for a number of years. Their support is beyond amazing. Okay, you can go 24 hours, and for sure, when you go into 3 in the morning on a Friday night, Saturday night, overnight, you will get usually an answer on that chat at that unique time, we'll call it, because crypto's 24/7 and you always get an answer. And it's going to be first and foremost in a native language where you live. In my case, in English. This is going to be very critical for any broker as a new standard. You know why I say that? Because when you have a broker and the excellent support that Kraken has, guess what? They will be at some point providing for their customers that have the crypto support through their excellence exchange. They're now just taking over Ninja Trader, which is now a broker in itself, and the software as well. So Kraken owns Ninja Trader. So here's going to be a new threat, a new ominous threat to all of the brokers out there, all the crypto exchanges. If you think you can get away with providing crap support, if Interactive Brokers want to give outsources their uh, level of support to other regions where, let's say, those markets has the language is secondary. Guess what? A new standard is going to be coming probably sometime in the fall, where that support is going to be out there through Kraken. Okay, if we get the excellent support that I would like to see with Mumu, I'm not tested it, I don't know, but I could tell you that the inactive support is pretty well garbage. Okay, it's absolutely garbage unless you're a high end 100,000, 200,000 plus account holder. You might get really good support. If you're just a minion like me under, I don't know, 50,000 or 100,000, you probably aren't going to get the best support. Because of that, the support's going to be very critical. And I say that because um, it's a new standard that's coming courtesy of Kraken. That once, if they do go in the equity space with ETFs and stocks, and as I said, the options and futures on commodities, not equity or stocks, but futures and options on actual real commodities outside of single stock. And Kraken does that. You got now a new standard. Okay. And if they maintain that level of support moving into the future, that's going to be now a run that all the other brokers are going to have to live up to, because I'll tell you, exchange the Kraken exchange is amazing for crypto, very impressive. So it's just I put that out there. The software I love from Mumu, from what's tradable, is really good, especially at the crypto level. I've given suggestions and tips for getting beyond the requirement of, in our case, the social insurance number. If it's true, what Interactive Brokers, great. You're going to get a lot more customers, and you're going to get a lot more business customers as well if they are able to, as part of the application process, to give that business number from the CRA as an option during that application process. But the other thing that needs to be understood is the support. The support's going to have to be top notch, because you're asking people to put money, a significant amount of money, into an exchange. And if people don't have the confidence in the support that's given, they're not going to trade with you. But if they know they're going to get the really good support from a broker or an exchange like Kraken, that raises that confidence. Really important to know that. The other thing that's important to know is where we're moving into the future on the financial system. I'm losing confidence with our Western based banks. I'm okay because I'm in Canada, but from the US, UK, you better take heed of what I'm about to say. Interactive Brokers supposedly will insure a majority of your deposits through Lloyd's of London. You can look it up. And one thing I'm going to put out there, important to know about banks and challenge your bank on this, challenge your professional advisor when you have large sums of money in somewhere, if it's in a bank or in a trading account, in a broker or wherever it is. Always ask your professional advisor, what are your policies on something called rehypothecation? This is so critical to understand. When you hand over your money with deposits, they tell you you're protected of 50,000, 100,000 from the federal government or wherever you live. Fine. But people don't know this. And this is important when it comes to handing over money to your exchange as well, be it wherever. Challenge them on this. If they cannot provide you an answer, again, just to prove there's no affiliation here, challenge them on that. And if they cannot give you an answer, and I hate to say it, when you look up Interactive Brokers rehypothecation on Google, you'll come up with exactly their policies, and they're pretty transparent about it. And it's insured again through Lloyd's of London. If wherever you put your money in and they get all dodgy on you on that, be very cognizant of that. It's so important to know this. So, with what rehypothecation is, when you put large sums of money, usually people's probably life savings in, is what's happening is you give money to a bank, they'll give you back something called an IOU. That means you've now no longer have ownership on your deposits, cash that you put in to those banks that you have, that you've already earned and paid tax on when you earn, and that's disposable income that you've put into these banks, to these institutions. So you've already paid your tax at source for what's left. I think you know where I'm going. But challenge where this money is, how it's insured if some major calamity comes into the future. Very important to understand that. Is this insured by somebody like Lloyd's of London? Or is it a rehypothecation where it's an IOU, we go bankrupt and we'll give you, if we had to, pennies on the dollar? That's going to be wherever you park your money. If it's over a certain threshold on what your government, your federal government is going to insure you on. In our case, I think it's 60 or 100K. Beyond that, it also depends upon where you put your money. And it usually does not cover the securities as well. I don't know the policies of something like Mumu, but this is critical to know. And again, I state this in this video. Excellent software, excellent, looks great. And if you got 10 grand and that's the amount, yes, absolutely. But when you start to get much more serious with a broker like this versus a larger corporate player like Interactive Brokers, you consider that, okay? This is a great place to grow in. This is a great place to learn about trading. And this is probably going to be a global leader. But we need to understand what I'm saying here, to be upfront and be very cognizant of where you park your money, trading or not, losing. It's if something happens to the government or the firm goes under, how is your money protected? I don't know the policies of this broker. But I do know the policies of Interactive Brokers. So these are a variety of things you need to factor in. These are a variety of factors that people need to be really aware of. Okay, and if you do trade in the futures market, do understand that that is not insured. It's not in a cash deposit in a bank. That's the only thing usually a federal government will insure. Beyond that, they will not insure what you put in as securities. And especially in today's economy, people need to be reassured what happens to that to their deposits in an account. As I said, Interactive Brokers looks good for me as is, but we got lots of unanswered questions here. So this is something that needs to be factored in to educate you. Not just Mumu is an excellent broker and an excellent software and the like, but these are the other things that people need to ask themselves on when they get really serious on parking and where they're going to put their cash. Okay, enough of that. I've already talked about. If you want to know more, you know where to go. Quantlabsnet.com. You can sign up for my stuff as well. Over and out. Thanks for watching.